more poverty than you had at the beginning, and it ends with a loss of freedom that you calculate after all the damage is done, that you gave up in the name of false security.
I couldn't say it better. I mean, this is, I call it the Venezuela, Argentina, Bolivia model of economic development. It is a scary situation. You're right that this is not going to pass with this Congress. What I watched, Sean, I met with Steve Scalise, who's the majority leader in the House, and I told him, you know what? Why don't you bring this bill, this budget, up to a vote in the House of Representatives on the House floor Monday morning, and let's see how these Democrats vote on this. Because I think they're running as far away from this as they possibly can. They're terrified of the impact that this would have on families. But let's bring it to a vote. Let's see how these Democrats vote.
Well, I think we know how they're going to vote. Democrats are going to vote with Joe Biden. They're going to vote for socialism. The only exception that I saw in my, I get volumes of news every day, was Joe Manchin. And the only person to speak out on the Democratic side was Joe Manchin. And, and how can you blame him? I mean, he comes from a state.
Right, an energy state.
That is dependent on energy. His actual quote was, picking and choosing on energy is not going to work. We can't be energy secure without fossil fuels. We have more natural resources than anyone else. And yet Joe Biden made the decision to make Venezuela rich again. Probably he'll be doing more business with the Saudis, and they're getting richer and richer. At some point, I would assume the Iranians are next. He doesn't seem to care. And by the way, when they decide to turn off the spigot or limit supply and to raise prices, there's not a damn thing we can do.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to bring more economic development and more jobs, more high-paying jobs to America. I've been to the oil patch in places like Midland, Texas. Those guys are making $120,000 a year. We have got to I love that term, turn the spigots on, because I don't know if you saw the report that came out just this week. The level of CO2 emissions in the atmosphere are higher than they've ever been before, even though we spent $100 billion on these worthless climate change programs. And you know the reason for that. It's a one-word answer, and it's a country. And that country is China, which is, they're laughing behind our back. They don't care about climate change. They care about taking over the world while we dismantle our energy industry.
Unbelievable. Steve Moore, we always appreciate you being with us. Thank you so much. What you're laying out here is extremely chilling and extremely frightening.